So we're having a look at how Revit actually deals with local files. If we have a look at this C drive temp location, which you get to by %temp%, you can see that the current amount of files in there is about 340 to 370 meg. If we then go to Revit, and you'll also see there we're using about 9.7 gig of RAM at the moment. If we go to Revit and open a fairly large file, this is a 1 gig file from a stadium, and this has no linked files loaded, so it's just the data from this one file. Now you can see if we load this up, you can see my RAM utilization going quite high at the moment, and when that finishes, you'll see the 1 gig file actually loads 2.4 gig of data onto the RAM. Now you'll also see here the temp file has actually created 4.9 gig of additional files, 4.7 of those belong to Revit. Those are the files located there. So this is essentially how it unpacks the Revit file into the temp. You'll also see as we open the first 3D view and it loads all of that geometry, that adds an additional 1.8 gig to the RAM. It's for this reason it's very important to look at the entire storage stack of your PC and make sure that it's capable of both serving up that high-speed RAM and high-speed local hard drive to enable you to work with those really large files. Here are the three main types of primary storage available. You've effectively got cheap and big on the left, and fast and expensive on the right. Generally, what I'd recommend is looking more at the NVMe drives. If you can get the one marked in red there, that's available for desktops and laptops. Get the largest one of those you can, and make sure all of your live working files and your C drive is utilizing that high-speed storage. You'll get the best results when working on large files in Revit. As we've shown in this video, Revit can use up a large portion of RAM and a large portion of your hard drive when unpacking and using files. If you've got a large project that then has a lot of link files, this gets exaggerated even further as the same ratios apply to all of the linked files as it loads them. So you could have a 1 gig Revit file with, say, another 3 or 4 gig of linked files coming in. That 4 gig will actually need a minimum of about 20 gig free space on your C drive to be able to unpack those files. If it runs out of space on the C drive or runs out of space on your RAM, these can be catastrophic. It can corrupt your file in a way that is unrecoverable, meaning you can potentially lose quite a lot of work. So it's important to have plenty of free overhead space. It's for that reason I recommend a minimum of 512 gig for your primary storage, 1 terabyte if you can afford it. And if you are going to purchase a second hard drive, like a 1 terabyte physical hard disk drive for additional storage, it should really only be used for media files and reference files, nothing that you're actively working on. The performance hit will be too large compared to the amount of money you would have paid to get a larger NVMe drive in the first place. Thank you very much for listening, and make good IT decisions. Thank you.